If you want lightning-fast load times and zero stutters, your SSD is the most critical component in your gaming PC. Get it wrong, and you'll be stuck on loading screens while your rivals roll by. That's why I've listed the 5 best NVMe SSDs of 2025 that fit every budget, deliver peak speeds, and keep your rig cool under pressure. We'll review them in various categories and reveal which one is the best at the end. I'll even share benchmark results so you know exactly what to expect. So, let's dive in. Number 5. Crucial P3. If you need an affordable NVMe upgrade without breaking the bank, the Crucial P3 at around $80 for 1 TB delivers strong value. This drive uses PCIe 3.0 by 4 NVMe in an M2 2280 form factor, so it works on any motherboard's M2 slot without extra drivers. Sequential read speeds reach up to 3,500 megabytes per second and writes up to 3,000 megabytes per second, which translates to load times about 6 times faster than SATA SSDs and 22 times faster than traditional hard disk drives. You can choose from 500 GB up to 4 TB capacities. The 1 TB model offers up to 220 TB, written endurance, and includes a 5-year limited warranty for added peace of mind. Crucial's pseudo SLC cache reserves a 250 GB high-speed buffer, speeding up game installs, save operations, and OS boots. Because it's DRAM-less, sustained write performance drops sharply once that cache is full, so large file transfers will slow down. Its endurance rating also trails pricier PCIe 4.0 and 5.0 drives. If your workload is mostly gaming and everyday tasks, you'll rarely exceed the cache limit. Just avoid using it for constant large video exports or database writes. For under $80 performance that easily beats SATA and old-school HDDs, the Crucial P3 is a standout budget NVMe choice. Let me know if you've tried a DRAM-less SSD and how it held up in real-world use. Number 4. Corsair MP600 Pro XT. If you need an SSD that stays cool under marathon gaming sessions, it is around $370 for 1 tab has you covered. This drive uses PCI Express Generation 4x4 NVMe 1.4 in an M2 2280 form factor, so it plugs into any modern motherboard's NVMe slot. Sequential RAID speeds reach up to 7,100 megabytes per second, and writes hit 5,800 megabytes per second, perfect for loading huge game worlds in seconds. You can choose from 1 terabyte up to 8 terabyte capacities. Under the hood, a FISON E18 controller pairs with 176-layer 3D triple-level cell NAND and a pseudo single-level cell cache to keep data flowing. Corsair backs it with a 5-year warranty and an endurance rating up to 3,000 TBW written, so it's built to last. What really sets this SSD apart is the integrated aluminum heatsink. It prevents thermal throttling during extended play or heavy file transfers, keeping performance rock solid. Random input/output operations per second top out around 900,000 reads and 1.2 million writes, ensuring seamless in-game asset streaming. Plus, a large sustained write cache speeds up game installs and patch updates. On the downside, that chunky 23mm heatsink can block neighboring M2 slots on compact motherboards. And at roughly 37 cents per gigabyte, it's pricier than many non-heat-synced PCIe 4.0 drives. For anyone who pushes their system hard and hates slowdowns from heat, this might be for you. But if you are looking for a NVMe SSD for the best endurance, then do not miss the next one. Number 3. Seagate FireCuda 530. If you need an SSD that outlasts every other drive in your rig, it is $240 for 1 terabyte is your go-to choice. This M2 2280 NVMe drive uses PCIe Generation 4x4 and hits sequential read speeds up to 7,300 megabytes per second and writes up to 6,900 megabytes per second. Fast enough to stream massive open-world assets without hiccups. You can pick capacities from 500 GB up to 4 TB, and the endurance rating on the 4 TB model tops out at an astonishing 5,100 TBW. In real-world terms, that means you could write and erase %70 of the drive's capacity every single day for 5 years straight. Seagate backs you with a 5-year limited warranty plus a 3-year rescue data recovery plan, so accidental deletions or drive failures aren't the end of the world. Random read/write performance sustains around 1,000 input/output operations per second, making in-game asset streaming and level loads buttery smooth even in the largest maps. On the flip side, it averages about 6.5 watts under load, so temperatures can climb in compact cases without extra cooling. And at roughly $24 per gigabyte, it sits among the priciest PCIe 4.0 SSDs. If you're building a workstation-style gaming PC or simply want a drive that won't quit after heavy daily use, FireCuda 530's rock-solid endurance and rescue plan give you peace of mind. So how is the durability of your current SSD? Which one is better when compared to the FireCuda 530? Number 2. WD Black SN8100. If you need the absolute fastest load times on a Gen 5 platform, at around $225 for 1 TB is built for you. This M2 2280 NVMe drive uses PCIe Generation 5 X4 and reaches sequential read speeds up to 14,900 megabytes per second, with writes hitting 14,000 megabytes per second, nearly double what PCIe 4.0 drives can manage. Capacities go from 1 terabyte to 8 terabyte, and each terabyte of capacity earns you 600 terabytes, written of endurance, so the 2 terabyte model rates 1,200 terabytes written. WD backs it all with a 5-year limited warranty. What really stands out is its random input/output performance, up to 2.4 million read/write, so open-world textures and assets stream flawlessly without stutters. And despite those breakneck speeds, it peaks at just 7 watts under load, thanks to efficient passive cooling. That makes it a perfect addition for small form factor builds that can't handle big heat sinks or extra fans. On the flip side, the SN8100's price, about $0.28 per gigabyte, puts it among the most expensive SSDs on the market. Plus, in some real-world file transfer tests, it can't quite match Intel Optane's consistent throughput, even if it tops synthetic benchmarks. If you're pushing the limits of a next-gen motherboard and crave Gen 5 performance without active cooling, this one delivers. If you want top-tier NVMe performance at a reasonable price, then the next pick is for you. Number 1. Samsung 990 Pro. If you want the best overall NVMe SSD that balances top-tier speeds, advanced features, and solid value, at around $149 for 2 terabyte is your go-to choice. This M2 2280 drive uses PCIe 4.0 by 4 NVMe and delivers up to 7,450 terabyte sequential read and 6,900 megabytes per second write. Random read/write performance tops out at 1.4 million and 1.55 million read/write respectively, so large game textures and open-world assets stream instantly without stutter. Available in 1 and 2 terabyte capacities, with a 4 terabyte model incoming, it offers 600 terabytes, written endurance on the 1 TB version, all covered by a 5-year limited warranty. What really sets it apart is native DirectStorage optimization, cutting supported game load times by up to 30%. Samsung's Dynamic Thermal Guard, using a nickel-coated controller and smart thermal algorithms, prevents throttling during marathon sessions. On top of that, the Samsung Magician software suite lets you monitor drive health, install firmware updates, and fine-tune performance with just a few clicks. Of course, the bare M2 module lacks an integrated heatsink, so you'll need either a motherboard heatsink or third-party cooler to sustain peak throughput. And at roughly 8 cents per gigabyte, it sits at the premium end of PCIe 4.0 pricing. Still, for unmatched all-around performance, features, and long-term reliability, the Samsung 990 Pro stands alone. Our comparison shows each NVMe SSD shines in its own way, but the Samsung 990 Pro leads the pack with a score of 9.5 out of 10. Its balanced mix of sequential speeds, direct storage optimization, and thermal management give it an edge. The WD Black SN8100 follows at 9.0 for Gen 5 performance, Seagate FireCuda 530 at 8.5 for endurance, Corsair MP600 Pro XT at 8.0 for cooling, and Crucial P3 at 7.5 for budget value. But which one fits your build best? Let me know in the comments. And that's it for today. I hope this guide helped you pinpoint the drive that matches your priorities, whether it's raw speed, endurance, thermal control, or budget. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.